Imagine a modern solar-powered home on a day with intermittent cloud cover. The sun briefly disappears behind a cloud exactly when a large appliance, like an air conditioner, starts its cycle, creating a sudden, massive demand for power. We usually assume the home's lithium-ion battery handles this transition instantly. However, batteries rely on the physical movement of ions through a liquid electrolyte, a chemical process that is inherently sluggish when forced to discharge a large amount of energy in a single burst. Constantly forcing these electrical spikes through a slow chemical reaction causes physical strain. Over time, the heat and stress from these bursts degrade the battery's internal components. Relying strictly on chemical storage creates a bottleneck in renewable grids. To handle these rapid shifts in demand, we need a solution based on an entirely different area of physics. That solution is the capacitor. Unlike batteries, capacitors store energy using static electricity. This allows them to charge and discharge almost instantly, and they can survive millions of cycles without losing performance. The charge a capacitor holds is measured in farads, named after 19th century British scientist Michael Faraday. The trade-off is capacity. While standard capacitors are incredibly fast, they can only hold a tiny amount of energy compared to the massive reserves in a chemical battery. Engineers bridge this gap with the supercapacitor. It maintains the instant speed of a capacitor, but uses a highly textured, porous internal coating to create a massive surface area, allowing it to hold significantly more electrical charge. Traditionally, engineering this level of surface area at a microscopic scale is a difficult and expensive manufacturing challenge. However, the ideal physical blueprint for this massive internal surface area isn't a high-tech laboratory creation. It's an ordinary 65-cent house brick. Researchers at Washington University in St. Louis looked past modern synthetics to focus on one of humanity's oldest building materials. A standard fired clay brick has two specific traits that make it a perfect candidate for energy storage. The first is extreme porosity. A single brick is filled with millions of microscopic holes, providing the vast internal surface area a supercapacitor needs. The second trait is chemical. The red pigment in the brick is hematite, an iron oxide more commonly known as rust. Because of its natural composition and ancient firing process, the brick already serves as a ready-made iron-rich scaffolding for an energy storage device. The transformation begins with an acid vapor. Researchers pump it into the brick's pores to partially dissolve the hematite and liberate its iron ions. Next, they introduce a specialized gas called EDOT and maintain a temperature of 160 degrees Celsius. Over 14 hours, the EDOT gas reacts with the iron inside the brick through a process called oxidative radical polymerization. This reaction causes the gas to self-assemble into a highly conductive solid polymer called PDOT. These PDOT nanofibers form a blue-tinted, electrically charged web that coats the entire internal porous network of the brick. The final step is adding a waterproof epoxy coating. This serves as both an electrolyte and a separator, preventing short circuits within the structure. This single-step process hijacks the brick's internal geography to conduct electricity, turning a structural element into a functional electrode. There are physical limits to keep in mind. A single power brick only holds about 20% of the energy found in a traditional chemical battery of the same size, but the utility comes from scale. An average home is built from over 8,000 bricks. Just 60 bricks can run emergency lighting for 50 minutes and recharge in 13. Connected to rooftop solar, these inner walls act as an instantly available energy reservoir. By acting as a structural shock absorber, these walls handle the most taxing electrical spikes, shielding the home's expensive lithium-ion batteries from rapid discharge cycles and extending their functional lifespan. The team is now seeking commercial partners to take this project beyond the laboratory, as the transition from a proof of concept to a scalable product requires significant research and development. Many ubiquitous technologies, like the electric light bulb, followed a similar path, beginning as localized lab experiments before being developed for the wider world. Building a fully renewable grid might not require an entirely new class of microchip. It may simply require hacking the inert clay walls we have been using for 5,000 years.